Hey everybody, it's Matt Fury from Avid here at Sundance once again, introducing you to some incredibly talented filmmakers, editors, composers, directors, people like that. Editor Jeff Gilbert joins us now. He's here with a project called War Game. We were talking about this a little earlier, Jeff. This is a very provocative film, and it sounds like one that was a real challenge to do. Tell the folks what War Game is about.
It's a political thriller documentary about what might happen on the next January 6th if the military became sympathetic to the insurrectionists. So the film brings together a bunch of experts who were former Department of Justice, Department of Defense, high-ranking people, and they're challenged to problem solve this hopefully unlikely scenario.
So we were also talking about how this is not your first time at Sundance. In fact, last time you were here was with a project called Boys State. Earlier today we talked to editor Amy Foote about Girls State, some symmetry there. So that begs the question, how did you get the job? Is this tied back to Boys State and any other films that you've done?
Yeah, so the directors, one of the directors of Boys State, Jesse Moss, he and I have done two films, Boys State and The Overnighters, which both played at Sundance. So we have a long working relationship. And thematically, there's actually a connection between War Game and Boys State in as much that they're both simulations in a way, and they're both exploring democracy in very different stakes. But there's a through line, both with our work history together and the nature of the projects.
So a lot of times for documentaries, you're talking about people, you're doing a profile on somebody, or you're talking about an event that happened in the past. For this particular thing, the documentary is sort of tied into an event that is taking place. How did that work? And that this scenario that was playing out, that you were able to be there and be in production with them at the same time.
Yeah, so the War Game was happening with or without us. The filmmakers were asked to come in and document the process because we did think it would be an interesting crucible to explore democracy.
Democracy, it's a tough word for a lot of people.
So the producers got access to this rare and special event, a private event, and allowed us to document it, and we took it from there.
So from a production standpoint, I think you mentioned that they built an actual set for this?
Yeah, so we built a set not too dissimilar from Dr. Strangelove. It's not quite as elaborate, but the event was going to happen regardless because the military does a lot of wargaming. Like, this is something that the government does, sort of to prepare the government for unlikely future scenarios or likely future scenarios. The filmmakers, the producers, the directors, the production designer decided to give it a little bit more of a cinematic look, but we didn't have any other influence over what was happening in the room. It was all improvised.
And so once you signed on to do the project, what did you do to prepare? Where did you cut? What were you cutting with? All that kind of stuff.
Sure. So I have my own edit suite in Los Angeles, downtown. I always love Avid. I prefer Avid. I work very closely with my assistant editor, who's also risen up to be the associate editor. His name's Connor Hall. He built a server for us. We were networked together. 2 cutting rooms, downtown LA, seamless. Everybody else was sort of scattered about through the directors. One was in New York, one's in San Francisco. Producers are bi-coastal. But the server allowed everybody access to jump in and look at dailies if they wanted, or just upload cuts easily.
So a lot of jobs out there that you could take. There's a lot of projects you could do. What was it about this one that you found the most intriguing?
Well, first of all, I love working with Jesse. We're longtime collaborators, and I believe in his taste and his instincts. And the subject matter is important to me. I think the country's in an identity crisis, and this exercise raises important questions. And I'd rather work it out through storytelling and cinema than having to go through what we've already gone through.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You gave me a little chill when you said the next January 6th. So looking back, what was the most challenging aspect of doing this project for you?
I think the most challenging aspect for me was crafting the story, since it was all improvised, and the game players, if you want to call them that, were being challenged by the game makers. There wasn't necessarily a structure to it. There was a time limit, but not a structure. So editorially, I think the greatest challenge was giving it an arc and giving characters backstory and letting the viewers go on a journey. Because in its own way, it's kind of one big 6-hour scene in real life. Right? They weren't building to some sort of climax. They were building to an end where they had to make a decision. But the narrative shaping and structure was sort of the best.
Yeah, I know you don't want to give away any endings. I'm curious, but I'm going to go see it so I find out. But I know you put a lot of hard work into this. You have a screening coming up. Is it tomorrow?
It's on Tuesday at 12:15. Yeah.
Okay. Well, best of luck with the screening. Congratulations on getting into Sundance again for the third time. And thank you for joining us. Everyone, when you get a chance, check out Wargame. And while you're at it, stay here with us on Avid social media channels to meet more incredibly talented editors, filmmakers, composers. Who knows? Just stay with us.